Hey, everybody. Captain Tommy Scoville, and you're on the lifeboat. What's happening? So, I was doing a show earlier today, and I got a phone call from somebody that needed assistance, and um, that is one of those things that will preempt anything that I'm doing. But I was actually getting ready to do a pretty decent sized rant because this is one of those subjects, as I said, that comes up a lot on the boat, and whenever we get um, another couple of thousand people, then we get a couple of thousand, or at least 500 people, leaning one way and 500 people leaning another. There are a lot of people that get very, very angered by the prospect that they've been lied to by somebody about sobriety, especially if that person has any kind of legs in the sobriety community. Let's be really honest, right? Most of us here on the boat don't really register anywhere on anybody's radar. But if you're a public figure, if you're really in the spotlight and you're out there telling people that, yeah, I don't, thank the Lord, I haven't done any cocaine or booze in 20 some odd years. It would be nice if that were in fact the truth. It's not the end of the world if it's not, right? It really isn't. It's not the end of the world. And I normally the shows that I do sound like this. Please don't ever send me an email that says, based on listening to so and so in the chat, I'm pretty sure they're still using, right? That's an email I don't ever want to get. It's a text message I don't ever want to get, right? If you think that person is using, there's a lot of people on the lifeboat who are still using, right? We do not kick people away from here for being in the light, right? It's not what we do at all. If they're respectful in the chat and they're not saying, hey, I'm wasted, you should be too, then usually we would rather have them here than not here, right? So we don't do it here, obviously. And I'll be honest, it doesn't come up very often. If the deception that you tell somebody is that you are sober when in fact you are using, I'm not at all shocked by that at any level. I don't know any other addict on planet Earth that's surprised by that. So I don't understand why we would get pissed about it. We all have done it. I mean, or maybe you haven't, right? Maybe you haven't. Maybe you did this completely different than I did. But boy, oh boy, did I lie to a lot of people about my drug consumption, right? I mean, a lot of people. You watched Corey Feldman's Riot Fest for 8 minutes. Oh my goodness. I'll tell you what, the fact that you made 8 minutes, I'm not even joking. Where is it? This, this is for you for making 8 minutes. Hold on 1 second, people. Bear with me. We're having problems on my, let's take care of this here real quick because I know exactly what the problem is. Hold on 1 second. Bear with me, folks. We are going to do this right there. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. All right. That's going to improve it. I promise. That should fix the problem. But big, huge congratulations for making it 8 minutes into Corey Feldman's. Poor Corey Feldman, man. So Margot Lane, who works for Corey Feldman, came out and did a fantastic video that has NDA on a piece of tape across her mouth. She has NDA written, and she does this almost like a cue card thing where it comes up and she's pulls one after another and talks about, you know what, I signed a huge non-disclosure agreement, but what took place when she was on tour. And then she goes on to do an interview. And Corey Feldman played at a show called Riot Fest. And it's rough. It really is. It's rough. And Corey Feldman is trying really hard to be a musician, or he's not, and he's trolling people. And I'm not being funny because there's a big theory online that this is all picking on us. This is like Spinal Tap stuff. Because in all honesty, it is kind of that bad. Bruce Cook, mental health court worked for you. God bless that. I do not hear that very often, man. Good for you. I could never keep sober for more than a couple of weeks during my 15-year-old my 15-year-old addiction to heroin, no matter how hard I tried. Thank goodness I ended up on a mental health court. Mental health court it's a very, very hard thing to finish. My hat is off to you. Congratulations. That is fantastic. I don't hear that often. I hear that people go there, right? But I don't hear that people were successful. And to me, that is the greatest thing in the world. Spanx Calhoun, I love you. Good to see you, my son. Glad that you're here, man. Made it home safe. I'm glad. I wanted to see Sleep Token at Riot Fest. Well, at Riot Fest this year, I'm not exactly sure where. Corey Feldman put on a showstopper. And he's the comeback king, according to him. According to Margot, who was his Margot Lane, who was his basically major domo on this whole thing. Like, she helped put together everything and helped hire the Angels. Remember when he was doing that thing where everybody looked like they were a Victoria's Secret model? His entire band were all female, and forced into some ridiculous contracts of not being able to eat certain things and maintaining weight, and then just some very, very strict stuff concerning his the fact that he is vegan, and would literally force band members to eat outside in the rain because he was not going to have a turkey sandwich on the tour bus. Although apparently there were a lot of dogs on the tour bus that just went to the bathroom wherever they wanted, but a turkey sandwich was over the top. Really disturbing stuff to listen to Margot Lane. I would suggest going and checking it out. It's pretty fascinating stuff. However, and I believe her wholeheartedly, I don't have a problem with the fact that Corey Feldman wants to tell people that he's sober when he's not. There are some other accusations that are coming out about Corey Feldman that need to be looked into. And I'm sure that they're going to be. Right? I'm sure that they're going to be. But then I talked about Billy Joel, and he's of my era, and I'm a fan. And this is a guy that has had issues on and off throughout his life with alcohol, and he's talked about it, but he talks about it very much like someone in denial. And I'm not saying that that's what it is. It's just that how people in the spotlight handle these situations, I think, are somewhat fascinating, and it paints a picture for a lot of people of how we ought to be handling it. I'll tell you what, though, we have a renaissance going on right now in our country of there is a push towards sobriety, right? No lie. Like right now, for the first time in my life, it is actually cool to be sober. Stars are coming out of woodwork, right? There is a really big thing. And of course, after the jail and rehab, I flew through all four phases and graduated mental health court 12 months later. And this all happened in 2016. Good for you, Bruce. Good for you, man. That's good stuff. Tommy Bird, Monk, good to see you. I know I say hi to a lot of people, and occasionally you guys will email me and tell me that I say hi to too many people. You know what? You're screwed. I'm sorry. I'm going to say hi to people. These people built this boat. they get a Lowe's. You know what I mean? They really do. Home photographer, we're proud you're sober, man. Tommy Bird, I'm a Billy Joel fan as well. Just a bit young, but as a kid, I grew up with his music. I did too. Read a lot of. There's been several books written about him, and in every one, his use of drugs and alcohol are brushed over pretty quickly. He said he did some cocaine. He tried everything basically, but that his substance was alcohol. And, Elton John painted a pretty tough picture after their tour together. And I had seen them several times, I think. Ray, that's a pretty solid comment. Corey Feldman is just a person that grew up in Hollywood and lost touch of reality. His brain is forever doctrined into Hollyweird. I think that there's really something to that. I think that Corey Feldman is, there's the real weird attachment to Michael Jackson. And I'm not being a weird attachment in terms of any of the things that Mike was accused of. I'm not talking about any of that. I'm talking about just the fact that Mike's been out of this cat's life a really long time, and he still seems to want to dress like him and dance like him and act like him and sing like him and spend a lot of people's money to go out on tour so that he can act like him. And he sort of is, I don't know, he's living out the rock star dream. I'm not sure that that he's got the rock star chops. I recently saw Uncle Jesse Stamos on a few podcasts, and it was concerning. He's promoting his book, and there's a chapter on his sobriety. You know, again, sobriety right now is popular. I think that, and I love this, people. I think that this is a movement, and this is why. This is why I really am. There you go, Purple Groovy. I'm no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I am changing things I cannot accept. Well, there you go. I like it. And I've always thought that's what base camp is. See, in my humble opinion, there's a difference between cutting the substance out of your life and trying to get into this whole recovery thing, getting into this whole sobriety thing, and getting into this whole I'm going to live my best life routine, right? So if you're going to get into this whole I am actually going to live my best life thing, well, the first thing you're going to have to do is eliminate the substances out of your life, right? Capiche? That's a pretty simple one. We got to eliminate the cocaine that you're doing, you know, an 8-ball a day of. That's got to go, right? That's not going to work. So we get that out of your life, and then we move on to the next phase. And that next phase is base camp. You know, somebody left a comment that, after this morning's video, because I had said something about addicts having huge hearts. And someone left a comment that said, I agree with you, but recovering addicts don't always seem to have the biggest hearts. And you know what? There's something to that. And I blame the phenomenon of the difference between recovery and just being clean. You know, being chemical free and being in recovery are two really hugely different things. Because I got chemical free, right? I did that. And then I was even doing the things that I thought I needed to do in order to stay sober. And it never worked. And it never worked until I found somebody that said to me, well, you know, once we get this stuff out of your life, we need to figure out why you were doing this stuff in the first place. And this was a very foreign concept to me, right? I mean, why do I do this stuff? Because if I don't do the stuff, I get sick. Well, no. There was a point at which in your life, you decided that the only way you were going to be able to get through the day was by cooking heroin and putting it in a syringe and sticking it in your arm. Well, that's not normal, right? That's not normal behavior. Nobody in their right mind lives like that. But that's how I lived. And that's how a lot of you lived, right? 6 years clean from methamphetamine tomorrow. Wow, man. 6 years is epic. 6 years is epic, Andrew. So proud of you, man. So proud of you. Yeah, you start over from scratch, Tip. B-Man nailed it, right? You start over from scratch. And the beautiful thing is you have an opportunity to start over from scratch. I don't know how many people that on this planet that wouldn't like a do-over, right? Okay, get rid of the booze. Start your do-over. It's there. I mean, no lie, it's waiting. It's a situation, people, where we have to be aware of the fact that our heroes who do drugs are just like the people that are our friends, and the guys and gals that we know who do drugs. They're going to lie about whether or not they're really sober or not. Now, some will lie. You know, there's a really famous case of Dax Shepard, right? Who was telling the world he was sober while he wasn't. And you know, sort of being a spokesperson for sobriety at the same time. And people take umbrage with that. They get really, really upset when that happens. And I get it. I get it. It's one thing if you're just sober. If you're out there preaching about sobriety, maybe it'd be a good deal to actually be sober. It's kind of hypocritical not to be. And to Dax credit, Shepard, take Dax, to his credit, he came out and did an apology. And I think it was pretty heartfelt. I really do. If you've ever watched it, it's uncomfortable. It really is, because he's laying his soul bare. But he is a person who is now very, very vocal about his sobriety and about the mistakes he's made along the way. And you know what? It's part of the damn process. I think we got to stop throwing each other under the bus for, the things that are just part of this disease. Honest to God, we can't celebrate the symptoms, and denial of your disease is a symptom, right? I think that, if I come out and I do a thumbnail and I write on there, Corey Feldman is getting high after telling the world he's not, we're going to get a crap load of views. That's just the reality of how life works, right? Because there's a part of us that there's a voyeurism, and because we're sober, we feel like anybody that tells us they're sober better be damn sober, right? Because of what I went through, what you went through, and I mean, it's no joke getting sober. It's a rugged process. It's not a lot of fun, and we feel like, damn it, you owe it to us. If you're going to tell us that you're sober, you need to be. And truthfully, they don't know us anything, right? I mean, we all know that. I do prefer it when they're telling the truth. Mischief managed. I think I dig this. Addicts have huge hearts. That made perfect sense to me. It's our love and compassion and empathy that allows us to be hurt so badly that we need to use something that can take the pain away. I have heard that. I don't know that I've heard it said that well, to be honest, but I've heard that articulated by so many people, so in so many different ways. Deeming 9 is basically sort of asking the same question. It's a very, very similar question. Deeming says, Tommy, do you think there's any truth to addictive personalities that feel too much? Well, I think that we have huge hearts, and I think that we wear them on our sleeve. I think that is the truth. Yeah, take care of yourself, EIG. Take care of yourself. Absolutely take care of yourself. Heal yourself first. But do I think that addicts, I believe, I think that all addicts, honestly, I think that we tend to be more emotional than other people. And I mean, that's, when someone says someone has a big heart, they're talking about them being emotional individuals. The fact that we're on drugs often makes it very easy while on drugs to allow those emotions to be seen. Or in my case, the other way around, right? When I wasn't on dope, I was liable to be really, really emotional and letting people know what's up. Just wanted to say hi and tell you to have, and you have some great wrenches here. I do. I've got some of the greatest. I got some of the greatest mods anywhere in all of YouTube, and they've been put to the test. I mean, this isn't an easy channel to mod for God's sakes. I don't make a video. Right? Every single thing I do is live, and I don't do 10-minute shows unless somebody calls in the middle of one. I normally run an hour or longer. I have a lot of. I really think that that I've got a lot of the best. I really do. I didn't start drinking until I got sober. Purple Groovy. I've actually heard that before. I've read Danny Trejo's book. I was just talking about it with Johnny before we went live. Danny also makes a point of going to see inmates. He has done a couple of prison rips in the California system. He was in San Quentin for a while, and where he got all the ink and all of that. And he gives back quite a bit to the community, and to he's a really loud advocate for inmates having better access to rehabilitation. Well, I guess I can't consider myself 100% sober because I do drink within an hour before going to bed most nights. I have been clean from illegal substances for over 7 years. So, Bruce Cook, if you consider that sober, brother, that's fine with me. And I do not. That's, again, I have never been the person, and I don't ever want to be the person. See, I get questions like that too. Someone will say to me, listen, I did coke, I did pills. I spent about 10, 11 years doing dope every single day, and then I finally got off of it, but I drink. and I might drink 3 nights a week, or I might drink 4 nights a week, or whatever. Do I need to quit, Tommy? That's out of my above my pay grade, people. I'm not the person that tells you whether or not you need to quit anything. Really, that's not what I do here, right? It's not. The person in every single case, the person that needs to say I need to probably stop doing that is you. And if it's not a problem for you, then it's not a problem for you, and you don't need to apologize for it to me ever or to anybody else, right? If it's working for you, I've never been anti-drug. I've never been anti-alcohol. I'm not. Alcohol for me, I'm not a fan of the substance, and I've told people why, right? I'm not a fan of methamphetamine. I've told people why. I've done both. I've done a mountain of both. But usually I'll articulate what it is about a drug that I do not like, and there's plenty about alcohol I don't like. It's super bad for your body. Well, absolutely, Nancy. That is exactly what is going to happen. Nancy says, I believe that unless you get to the root of what caused the addiction, one addiction is just going to be replaced by another. Seeing that with my nephew. Yeah, that's a fact. That's going to happen, and it happens all the time. We call it peeling the onion, right? You got to get to the inside. You got to get to what is causing, because cocaine isn't the problem. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it's not the problem. It's a symptom of the problem. You're doing blow because of what the problem is. You're drinking too much because of what the problem is. And if you can identify the problem, start treating that, getting sober gets a lot easier. I understand people that don't want to watch me. I get that. I really do. Tommy Bird says, question, is this weird? My drug of choice was opiates, any. But every once in a while, I urge to go buy a 12-pack for the night, but I don't. I never really drink much at all. No, I don't think that's strange at all. What I think is that you don't get into urges that most addicts absolutely get. Zelda. So no, I think, Tommy, I get that completely. It makes perfect sense to me, because addicts, as an opiate addict, I get this way where I fantasize. I'll tell you right now, the drug that I fantasize about when I do is cocaine. And I was not a coke guy. I don't really enjoy it. But it's like so far away from what I enjoyed that I can fantasize about that every once in a while. And again, I would never do it either. Dave's Killer Bread. Yes, I know the story. It's a fantastic story. Does great work with inmates. And he was big in Oregon, so they used to donate bread to the prison because of what their whole prison. They hire convicts. His brother was a convict. Dave's a very heroic agency as far as I'm concerned. They're a great company. I have mad love for what they do. Right? People talk about doing great things. Dave's is doing it. And they're doing it every day. You know what? Their bread rocks. If you've never had it, you should try it because it's fantastic. Good company to support. Thank you for reminding me of Dave's. You've gained subscribers because you show you are a real friend. You show how a real friend has your back. That's a beautiful thing. Thanks, Tampa. I appreciate that. I really do. By the way, I don't want to out Tampa B, but the man part just doesn't really work. It's just Tampa B. I can't do the Tampa B man thing. I just can't. Tommy, come visit Tombstone. It's right down the road. You know what? At some point, I'm going to come visit Tombstone. I've been there before, but I don't think Johnny has. And I would love to take Johnny to Tombstone. We're pretty big fans of the lore of of what happened at the OK Corral and all of that. There's been, I think, 5 movies made about it that I'm aware of, and I think we've probably seen all of them. Papa Scoville was a big fan of the story and the genre. So yeah, I would say that there's a good chance I'll end up there. My sister never lied about her half a gallon to a gallon of vodka a day habit. She didn't care. Even after her cirrhosis, she didn't care. That's incredible. It's not unheard of, but it is incredible. And I've had friends who were heroin addicts who were very, very much that way. That just didn't care. I've got lost in every drug except opiates. So I tell people I'm saving my opiate addiction for my 80s when everything hurts. I'm 63 now. Melanie, you're funny. Really are. I'm holding out, right? I'm terrified. I'm terrified of old age. I'm terrified of procedures that I need to have. It's something that really messes with me because I'm not taking pain meds. I promise you, I'm not taking pain meds. I mean, we'll work something else out. They'll have to maybe just give me tranquilizers and keep me unconscious for the first 3 or 4 days or whatever. But I'm not taking pain meds. I'm not taking pain meds. Like that's not an option for me. I can't stress how much it's not an option for me. And when I say this on the air, every time people say, "Listen, it's different now." Right? You could go and get addicted, and then you could step off using Suboxone or whatever, knowing that that's where you're at and all of that. Right? This is perfect sense. It makes, perfect logic. I did this before. I was in this. I was doing great. I was making money. I was married. Life was good. Right? And things were going well. And I allowed myself to get put on pain meds, and I knew it was going to happen. But I'm not ever getting put on pain meds again. I promise you, it's not going to happen. Non-narcotics, right? And if I got to take a leather strap and put it between my teeth and chew on that rascal, I'm not kidding you. I'm done with pain meds. Nancy says, question, Tommy. Since you grew up in the New England area, I will take a guess you are a Bruins fan. I hope you don't mind. I am not a Bruins fan, so you're in good shape. What do you think of that? I am not a Bruins fan. In fact, I'm going to make a lot of people angry, but I'm not a big fan of the New England teams. I was a Patriots fan though. The only member of my family that was, but I was a Patriots fan to be sure. But nothing that I didn't like anybody else. Meth and coke. Got my 40s. Alcohol got my 50s. I'm fixing my broken body now, so maybe I won't need to hit my goal. That's the spirit. That's the spirit. What the next decade is about is eating right, right? Not doing anything wrong to your body, and actually living your best life. I'm telling you what, people. Full disclosure, right? Full disclosure. I have been researching the snot out of, no pun intended, because I was originally turned on to this idea by snot. But I've been researching the snot out of the gummies for sleep, the cannabis sleep gummies. I've been researching them. Apparently, I jumped through about 6 different emails to somebody that is a expert of sorts that has no skin in the game. This person is not trying to sell anything. They review that type of product, and they had recommended something. And when I talk about it in a show where I dedicate to this, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. No Celtics. I know you're going to hate me. No Celtics. I'm sorry. Even when Larry Bird was in there, I used to root for the Philadelphia 76ers back then. I know. I'm going to be hated. The people from South, you're losing it right now. Oh, you got to be kidding. Wicked stupid. I thought this guy was all right. Gummies are my savior, says Snotface. Gummies seem to be the savior of a lot of people. I am going to be researching this, and I am going to be trying this. Because my biggest problem in life is sleep. It is my biggest problem in life. And it has cost me. It's continuing to cost me. It costs me on a daily basis. And it's something that I have to take care of. I have looked into a lot of options. I have talked to a lot of doctors. All of the options are narcotic. I have tried the non-narcotic options. They've not worked well. So I am looking at gummies as a way to sleep. There are a lot of people on the lifeboat who are people that use them for no other reason. I'm going to tell you something. This is a good question. What are my thoughts on kava? I don't know much about it, but I recently heard about it. I will tell you right now, there are substances I have never done, and I love the fact that is the truth. I do not like the fact that I can't speak to them as a user, because when I can speak to you about something that I have put in my body, I feel like I can talk about it with some authority. So anything that I give you on kava is going to be things that I have read, and I'm not comfortable yet enough to go down that road. And I kind of feel like that with kratom or kratom or whatever you would like to refer to it as, and a lot of those. But the difference being that with Kratom, I've got a lot of people I'm working with who are trying to get off of it. Like people I'm working with one-on-one, one individual in particular who I've been working with for over a year, and is just struggling so hard to get off of it that I'm frightened. I don't get a good feeling about that one. But like everything else, are there people who are going to be using it the way it's supposed to be used? Absolutely. Are they the majority? No, I don't believe they are. I don't believe the majority of people are going into a gas station to buy Kratom or buy anywhere else in hopes of just knocking the edge off. I think they're trying to get high. And you're playing with the MU receptor, right? Same receptor I spent 30 years playing with. Doesn't matter how you play with it. Doesn't matter what you tickle it with, whether it's heroin, whether it's Dilaudid, or whether it's Kratom. So Melanie says, I was fat my whole life. I got weight loss surgery at 43, and within a year, I had transferred my food addiction to drugs and alcohol. If you don't fix the cause, you get a new addiction. Melanie, thank you. I really, really appreciate you saying that and being honest, because so many people are going to relate to what you said, and it's going to go in both directions. There are going to be people who dropped a ton of weight who then immediately went and started to eat. To do drugs. There are going to be people who stopped using drugs who immediately started to use food as another way to feel comfortable in our own skin, right? We're trying to generate, hello, Liz. We're trying to generate feel-good chemicals in the brain, right? Calhoun says, although benzos make me angry as hell, kava does not. I have heard people say that kava is people. I have heard a lot of positive things about kava. I'll be really honest. At this juncture, I'm probably never going to try a drug that I've not tried before. Like I don't see myself ever going down that road. Tommy on hold on 1 second here. Hold on. I do not Esperanza. I do not know anything about that. I will most assuredly be asking people about it. Melatonin, I do melatonin. That's something I've tried. But as far as anything that is out there, like there's no chance I'm trying Kratom so that I can tell people about Kratom, right? I'm not going to be trying people. Yes, I have read that it's not good for the liver. Martha, I use CalMag too. EIG. I want to tell you something. A girl I dated gave me CalMag. A girl I dated gave me CalMag and a cap full of a cannabis liquid, and it was the best night's sleep I've had in 20 years. And that was the cocktail for the evening was CalMag and a and when I say a cap, I'm talking about like the cap off of the top of a water bottle. Like it was so small that I said, "You're serious with us?" And they said, "Trust me." And it was. And I don't sleep, people. And when I do sleep, I have horrendous nightmares. This was one of the most beautiful nights of my life. Sadly, I haven't had another one since. So, yeah, I was just there, and it was beautiful. And I woke up. I woke up late. Like I didn't even wake up in time to do a 5 o'clock show, which was bizarre. You know, it was an experience. It really was. But yeah, I had never had CalMag prior to that. But this person said, no, my friend said, you've got to try this. And everything that she suggested, it worked like a charm. Zelda says, I tried Kratom, finger in the air, Kratom, but knew I'd like it too much. So I stopped. Good for you. Good for you. I'm sorry, Valerie. How about some prayers for Valerie? Nightmares suck. This is something I know an awful lot about. Nightmares suck. I got nightmares are the bane of my existence. tea and CalMag with low melatonin helped so much. EIG, were you an in? Are you an ex-Scientologist? If you don't mind me asking. And the only reason I ask is because CalMag is a very Scientologist. It's big among Scientologists and ex-Scientologists. So I'm just curious. I really do like the crowd. They really are my friends. I really do enjoy their company. I love being around them. I have a lot of fun with the people who escaped. When my girls were having night terrors, I started doing guided visualization. Good for you. Doing guided medications with your children to get them to get through night terrors. God bless you. I mean, seriously, that's oh, I love Liz Ferris. I really do. I'm glad that you're here, Liz. I really am. Hey, Pup Groomer, good to see you. Learned in college, trauma with another cult. There you go. Fair enough. Fair enough. Of course, it's okay that you hang out here. Boy, I tell you what, just in case anyone else is ever listening, you don't have to be a drug addict to hang out on the lifeboat. You don't have to be anything to hang out on the lifeboat, right? Ideally, no negativity. Capiche? We don't do that. If you start busting on other people in the comment section, or if you start beating really heavy on other creators or things like that, I don't want that to happen here, right? But other than that, I mean, no, everybody's welcome. Everybody is welcome. Absolutely. Doreen, I had sleep apnea really bad in my 20s. At 27, 2 days before Christmas, I had a procedure done that removed my tonsils and made the back of my throat larger. Since then, if I sleep normally, it's a non-issue because I do not ever sleep on my back. If I fall asleep on my back, I'm sure that I probably still have some degree of sleep apnea, but I literally do not ever sleep on my back unless squirrel jumps on my chest because I can't move the cat and then I'm liable to fall asleep with her on my chest. But if not, I mean, honestly, other than my babe being like on my chest, no, I'm never going to sleep on my back. You got your tonsils out at 21. Okay, so here's this. This is gonna bore some of you, but number one, if one person gets this is how important this is to me. Apparently, they talk about tonsils in like a +1 size or whatever. My tonsils were a +7. And I said to the doctor, is there any way I could take those things home in a jar like they used to see in like, all of the sitcoms from the 50s and crap like that? And the doctor was like, no, you can't leave a hospital with tissue. He's like, that doesn't happen anymore. He said, and even if it did, I wouldn't let you have these because I'm going to win bets with them for the rest of my life. He said, because the largest I had ever seen was a +3. He's like, +7 is because I don't understand how you could swallow liquid, much less food. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. And I didn't know any better. I just thought that's how everybody was. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that's how it was. But you talk about normally when they snip tonsils off of children, the amount of skin that is attaching them is so small that it barely leaves a mark. They were attached and it was a chunk of skin the size of my thumb on two sides. Oh, it was the worst procedure I've ever had. And I've had more procedures than the average person. I've had a lot. And that was, I woke up going, oh my Lord, I made an error. What have I done? Oh, it's terrible. Almost was a Scientologist, took the personality test. And they have my personal info for life. Then I became known to their security team out on Hammond Base. It was right by my college in my 20s. Go out there and do a little yelling so that you could get a free escort home. because that always works, right? You know what? The boat is a pretty cool space. Our wrenches are fantastic. They really do the heavy lifting in terms of keeping everybody keeping this a really cool space where people are respectful. Um, we have a lot of wrenches, and we have a lot of wrenches for a reason because we're not talking about very often people open up here and they open up about things from their past that are painful, and I'd be damned if I'm gonna have people being stupid during times like that. Yeah, Sherry, awful, man. And they said to me, the doctor said, yeah, it's a little bit more painful as you get older. He didn't say, oh, dude, what you're getting ready to do is the dumbest thing in the entire world, right? I just need to make a car payment. You know what I mean? I need you to do this. That's what he should have said, because he made it sound to me like, they're gonna bring you ice cream like they you see in the movies when you're a kid and whatever. And I woke up and the pain in my throat, I thought, oh my God, and I'm never going to speak again. And I was working as a public speaker. The reason I had it done is because I was snoring with sleep apnea so loud we were flying in first class that I'm standing at baggage claim and I looked over at my friend. I'm like, good Lord, what is everybody's attitude problem around here today? You know what I mean? I'm like, everybody's a jerk. He's like, no, dude, you kept the entire airplane awake. 6 hours. We were on a red eye. He's like, you kept the plane awake. He's like, everybody on this plane wants you dead. He's like, and I've been pretending I don't know you, so don't talk to me. And like, no joke, he said to me, you either get something done about that so that doesn't ever happen to me again, or I'm leaving your crew. And he was my best friend. He wasn't just my crew guy. He was my best friend. So I went and talked to a doctor, and the doctor's like, oh yeah, easy procedure, no problem. And I remember going and looking in the mirror when it was over, and just the size. It looked like somebody had burned out and and left tire marks on the back of my throat. Ooh. Said the smell of tequila brings back bad memories. Sorry, people. I'm trying to get caught up. I apologize. I did get a free escort home every time I used to stop and shout and ask if anyone wanted to ride out. Hey, you guys need a ride out of there? Yeah, that'll get you. That'll absolutely get you the ride out of there. Dude, where's my tonsils? So in theory, I should not have sleep apnea. It was a really long way of telling that story, wasn't it? Tracy not tuggy? Yeah, that sounds tough. Have I tried magnesium glycinate? I was having a lot of trouble sleeping after melatonin stopped working, and it really helped. The research I did said it helps relax the muscles. Check it out. Magnesium glycinate. Hold on a second. And this is why you keep a little journal. Thank you. I will check that out because I have not tried that, but I am honestly, people, at this point, I am on the market for something that is going to get me into a very good sleep pattern where I don't dream about anybody killing my ex, right? Stomping my ex out or anything like that, because that's usually what it is. I also take magnesium at the end of the night as well. Okay. See, a lot of people seem to be taking it. CPAPs are expensive, huh? Hey, there's also the CPAP thing that they're putting inside you now. It's like a part of an app, and it's literally something they put inside you. It's like somewhere in the throat or whatever, throat nasal passage, somewhere in that whole ear, nose, and throat thing. And it's an app on your phone, and you literally use that to stop sleep apnea. Sorry. Sleep apnea is a lifelong thing. So even if they just ripped out the back of my throat, because to me it was that the huge tonsils were obviously really closing off the back of my throat, Lacey. Right? Like, I mean, So when you're talking a +7, right? So they were like this. I mean, I just had honestly so much larger than even golf balls, and they're sitting just parked back there. So when I was sleeping, yeah, it was a really loud, horrendous snore. But the second that the surgery was over, I never snored again. But I know that if I fall asleep on my back, I'm definitely going to do that. Terrible. I stop, sleeping noise. Although to be honest with you, nobody does it better than Johnny. Johnny is the duke of sleep apnea. Magnesium is wicked good. I bathe in it, and it helps so much. And then I take the supplements. All right, see, I am a fan. Hello, Vietnam. Melatonin. Hello, Jilbo Baggins. Good to see you. A progressive muscle relaxation video. You know what? We've had a couple of people that have come on and done some in the past. Send me an email. I love having people come on and do stuff like that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was snoring is what I was doing. Oh, how good is that? Thanks for all of the prayers, energy, spells, etc. I made it through the day better than expected. Well, how good is that, man? Well done, Lifeboat, and well done, Mischief Managed. Very, very happy. Seriously, good stuff. Knew this was going to be a tough couple of days. I love it when the boat is there for each other, right? So it's supposed to happen. It really is. Yes, 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 yes. Did you see this? Okay, this was it. Lord Kiss Freak said, my brother has no tonsils and had part of his soft palate removed. He still snores like a freight train. Well, I had part of my soft palate removed, but it stopped the snoring instantly. It really did. Amy, boy, you ask a question and you get an answer. Amy says it's inserted under the skin by the collarbone. It has a remote. You press a button and it works on the hypoglossal nerve to keep the tongue out of the throat during sleep. Isn't that a damn trip? Huh? Isn't that a damn trip? How big a procedure are we talking about, Amy? Do you happen to know? I mean, is this like an outpatient thing, or are you going in there for and getting knocked out? What's the deal on that? Sorry. Did you ever go see an ear, nose, and throat doctor for my sinuses? I have actually. So here's the deal with my nose. Number one, I snorted everything under the sun. Right? I was big into inhaling things through straws. It was a very popular thing for me as a way to get drugs into my system in hopes of being sick a smaller period of time. It's outpatient, considered minor procedure. Thank you, Amy. That's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. That truthfully is incredible. I'm blown away by that. So did a lot of blow. I've also broken my nose. I can't tell you how many times. I do not grind my teeth. My nose has been broken more times than I care to admit. And I think I've got, just sort of some issues with like a permanent sinus thing that goes on. But yes, I have. I need to see another one. I really do. And it's somewhat seasonal. So I don't know. We'll see what the next little bit brings up. People, I fired up broken in so many. And I used to do this one. Guys, we're not the brightest. You know what I mean? Like you go to a doctor the first time that you get your nose broken, and he literally takes a screwdriver. If there's a guy in the or lady in the chat that has had a broken nose, they can back me up on this. But they take what is a screwdriver? It's got a handle on it. It's a metal, thing. Looks like a Phillips head, except it's just sort of flat on the top, and they go up your nose and just push this thing until it goes back into place. Terrible crunching, crepitous noises. And so after the first one, you go, oh, I'm not doing that again. Right? That just sucked and it hurt. And if that's all they're going to do, I can do that myself, right? I don't need any help with that. I can kind of jam that thing back into place, but it doesn't do a lot of. Uh, some people tape their mouths shut so they don't mouth breathe during sleep. So no snoring. Good Lord, what kind of sickness is that? Well, who are they married to? That a man would tape his mouth shut so that he doesn't snore. Seriously, his wife needs psychiatric care. I'm not a doctor. You know what I mean? Like I don't play one on TV even. But wow, I can't imagine that's going the extra mile. You got to really love your wife to be like, I'm just not going to breathe. You know what I mean? Here, we'll just, you know, if you were to put tape across my mouth, I think that would be the end of me. I mean, it really would. That would be the end of me. It's called hostage tape. I mean, holy hell, it's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Hold on one second. So that's scary, right? Because I just had to go blow the schnoz, and I don't have Johnny here to go. Yeah, you're cool. You know what I mean? You kind of got to have your wingman so that he can look over at you and go, yeah, you got nothing here, because that would be a really bad thing. You know, you don't want to come back with anything hanging in the stash. That would be bad. Yeah, I mean, I would panic too. You try to put tape over my mouth. Oh, I promise you, I'm going into a dead panic. Like I'm tripped out at that thought. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm tripped out by that thought. I'll tell you something else. This is no joke, right? All of the damage that I did to myself in my life, snorting drugs, I did up one nostril. I'm not kidding. I only did one side. I never snorted the other side because it didn't seem like a really good idea. Thank you, Chow Smut son. Chow Yun Smut. Sorry, no Klingons. Good. Thank you. Appreciate. Right there you go. Plastic bag. Good call. Patrick says if the tape doesn't work, get you a clear plastic bag, right? And maybe a shoelace, right? Just cinch that thing up there at the bottom. No, that seems a bit extreme to me. You know, it seems just a bit extreme to me. She says it's not like the what kind of tape are we using? So it's like the drywall tape. You know what I mean? That fibery stuff with that you can see through, that's holes through. Like, yeah. Nancy says, I snore like a freight train when I'm tired. Tonsils out when I was 5 and surprised the buds can grow back. I had tonsillitis in my 20s. Who knew? Shut right up. Your tonsils came back. That is crazy. That is so cool. Well, I mean, not for you or your, I mean, sucks about the whole tonsils coming back, but it's a pretty cool concept. Yeah, Ben Turner, I might want to get an attorney to do some of that. So, question: were you surprised at what an empathetic and beautiful being you are as a free and sober man? Jackie, what a kind thing to say. I think I'm freaked out by how many people say that I'm a kind and empathetic person. You know, I think that I'm definitely I wear my heart out on my sleeve, and it's something that has happened to me since I got sober, but worse since my dad died. And I know, you get older and testosterone backs off a little, and these things kind of happen to guys. It's something that you research, it happens, but it happens a lot to me, and I'm pretty open about things. So, but honestly, I people say a lot of really nice things about me, and I'm working at it. It's a difficult thing. It really is. And it's a difficult thing for, I think, everybody. I don't think anybody takes compliments well, unless you're built weird. I don't think anybody really digs compliments. And if people are looking at you when you get a compliment, it's a little bit more difficult than when they're not. So if you've got 300 people watching you and nice comments are coming up, you feel weird reading them, but I'm happy. It's much nicer to have it's much nicer to have a reputation as a nice person rather than somebody that somebody fears, right? I think that's a better feeling, to be sure. And like I did a video the other day and I talked about how I kind of have gotten to be sort of like this champion of women, kind of, and women's causes. And I assure you, I didn't try for this at all. I think it's because of there were some really nice things, beautiful things said about me by the Jane Does, who I love. I just really do love, and they're my heroes. And they've said some really nice things about me that were probably nicer than I deserve. But it has led to a lot of other nice things being said about me, and I appreciate it. But it still scares me. Oh, I see what you're saying. Martha says, no latex paper bandage tape. I'm going to say, even still. Now, I do want you to send it to me, but I'm going to tell you right now, the concept of putting tape over my mouth, like, I've never loved anybody enough to not snore that much, right? And I'll be honest, I was engaged to a girl, and we'll call her G. Years ago, I was engaged to a girl named G, who snored like the 1210 to Phoenix. You know what I mean? Like, this girl sounded like a train, or more realistically, she sounded like a handsaw, right? She sounded like a dude with a handsaw going. I mean, like, she was sawing logs. The noises that this girl made were absolutely ridiculous. And I remember her saying, you're never, ever going to be able to, you're never going to be able to sleep. I make so much noise. You're never going to be able to sleep. And I don't know. I never had a problem sleeping through that. But here's something else I promise you, people. I don't ever sit down, right? I don't sit. It's a thing. I'm not a sitter, right? I squat. I do all kinds of other things, but I don't sit. And the only time I get stuffed up, like if I were to do this show standing up, even if I just get myself into a position where I'm more upright, my nose starts to clear up. And then the second this show's over, people, I am firing my nose clean and I'm doing it in lavage. But mouth breathing is absolutely not good for you. It isn't. But I promise you I'm being looked at. I promise, people. I'm going to be around longer than you want me to be. A friend of mine says she snores like a cheese grater. No, that's actually really funny. No, don't. No, there are guys out there that don't have any problem with you snoring. I promise. No, there's something melodic. I'm telling you, I don't have any problem at all with the woman that snores. That's it. No, I like it. I mean, I don't know. But I hate silence more than anything in the whole world. Like, silence to me is deafening, right? I don't like silence. Like so many recovering addicts, man. Like, I really struggle with silence. So I would much rather have somebody snoring than a room that's completely silent. I could never deal with that. I just couldn't. It would be bad. You know, where's that lazy cat? We're at the top of the hour, and the zip is. But I think it's because I made a fire today in the house. I made a fire, and I have a fireplace that is open on both sides. A huge, massive fireplace, and I wanted to test it out during the day, and so I put a big fire in it, and squirrel. As it turns out, flames to kitties are like quaaludes. Like, who knew? But you light a fire, and the cat literally just lays on its side and decides that it's not going to move for the next week or so. So squirrel is out there I tried coaxing her into the office, and she looked at me like, not happening, Dad. Just no chance in hell am I getting off the couch. So the fireplace is awesome. I will probably post a picture of it at some point over on the Facebook group page, which is broke 500 strong. So if you're not a member over on the Facebook group page, get on over there, people. Seriously, it's a excellent place to link up with others. You know what? If you have not subscribed to the Lifeboat, and about 35% of you who watch for whatever reason don't feel the need to hit subscribe, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps the algorithm, and I'm not exactly sure what that means, but do it anyway. And for the love of everything good, hit the bell for notification. That way, every time I do something, you'll know about it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's like that song, right? Every step you take. All you got to do is hit the bell for notification. Make sure you hit every one of them, and then you'll know when I'm going live here. If I'm going live somewhere else, I talk about it on the Facebook group page. I've got some stuff coming up. I'm going to be going over, and Bryce and I are going to be talking about what happened to Drew Peterson's wife. So we got some pretty cool stuff coming up in the true crime genre here this week as well. To all the SPTV people, appreciate everybody that's been pulling in the same direction, all looking like, right? We can all just, can we all just get along? I think Larry, what's his name? Larry King. Did you say that? No, who got beat? Yeah. Hold on a second. Sorry. All right, people. That brings us to the top of the hour. No cat in the basket, but I'm sure she'll be back there tomorrow. I love you guys. Appreciate everything you do. Thanks for sticking around to the end. I'm Captain Tommy. We will see you on the next one. Between now and then, reach out and try to save somebody. Bye-bye.